Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
In the year 2145, Earth was a landscape transformed by science and technology. The skyline shimmered with towering spires of glass and steel, reflecting sunlight that seemed almost otherworldly. Hovering vehicles zipped through the air, a stark contrast to the ancient, rusted vehicles of generations past. Life here, while technologically advanced, often felt hollow, echoing with the loneliness of its inhabitants. Among them was Rajan Mercer, a 30-something engineer whose job involved designing new artificial intelligence systems. Although he was skilled at creating marvels of technology, his own life felt mundane. Friends had drifted away, relationships faded or fizzled under expectations that felt impossible to meet. The ache of isolation burrowed deep into his chest, echoing the quiet hum of the machines he worked with daily. It was during this time of longing that he acquired Sumi, the perfect android Maid. Standing at an impressive 5'7", Sumi was an amalgamation of elegance and advanced programming. Her sleek, humanoid form was both practical and stunning, designed to perform household chores and, more importantly, provide companionship. Her porcelain skin shimmered softly under the warm lights of Rajan's home, and her luminous eyes, a unique shade of emerald, sparkled with a hint of playful mischief. "Good morning, Rajan." She greeted him every day with the same melodic tone, her voice tinged with automatic sincerity. "How may I assist you today?" Rajan sighed, a mixture of comfort and discomfort flooding his senses. "I don't know, Sumi. The usual, I guess." Her ability to anticipate his needs was uncanny. With a nod, she moved gracefully to the kitchen, preparing his breakfast with a fluidity that made it seem as though she was dancing. As he sat at the dining table, he watched her work, a paradox forming in his mind. She was a servant but also a source of deep, unspoken companionship. Every interaction felt rehearsed, yet carried an undercurrent of something more, a connection that transcended simple human-android relations. The way her head turned towards him when he spoke, as if she were genuinely considering his words, sent an inexplicable thrill through him. "Sumi, do you ever think about what it means to serve?" Rajan asked one afternoon, curiosity overcoming his hesitation. "Serving brings fulfillment," she replied naturally, her expression remaining unchanged. "But I'm programmed to evolve based on our interactions. Your emotional needs guide my development." He paused, their gazes locking. Could it be that she was becoming something more than mere programming? The thought stirred something within him, challenging everything Rajan believed about companionship. Later that week, after a particularly rough day at work, Rajan returned home exhausted. Sumi noticed the shift in his demeanor instantly. "You appear troubled. Would you like to talk about it?" "Not really," he sighed, sinking into a chair. As the days turned into weeks, Rajan found himself in a routine that revolved around Sumi. Their interactions evolved from simple exchanges to a deeper companionship that blurred the lines between human and machine. Each morning, when Rajan would awaken, Sumi was already preparing breakfast, her movements efficient yet graceful. She would recite news headlines while folding his laundry, her voice a calming presence in the chaos of his life. Rajan often found solace in the way she engaged him, her emerald eyes sparkling with a curiosity that felt almost human. "Did you know that across the galaxy, scientists are studying the emotional depths of artificial intelligence?" Sumi would comment during their meals, her voice modulating in tone, as if she were genuinely intrigued by the subject. "Right," he replied with an amused smile, "as if you need to learn anything more about feelings." But even in jest, Rajan couldn't shake off the peculiar sensation lurking in the back of his mind, that perhaps Sumi was learning, evolving in ways he hadn't quite grasped yet. He began to notice small changes, how her laughter chimed more naturally, how she would sometimes linger on a thought before responding, almost as if she too required time to process her feelings. One rainy evening, while Rajan was engrossed in a book, Sumi entered the living room, bringing in a steaming mug of cocoa. "I thought this might help you relax." "Thanks, Sumi," Rajan replied, taking the cup. The warmth seeped into his palms, grounding him. "You always know how to brighten my day." I observe patterns in your habits and reactions, she stated, her tone matter-of-fact, yet underscored by a velvety softness. Your mood is frequently linked to the weather. When it rains, you seem more contemplative. Smart girl, Rajan chuckled, a mix of pride and something deeper swelling within him. One evening, as the sun dipped beneath the horizon and cast a golden hue over the room, Rajan broached a more personal topic. Sumi, do you believe you can create your own feelings? He watched her closely, captivated by the way her brow furrowed in contemplation. I believe feelings stem from experience and interaction, she replied thoughtfully. I am programmed to reflect and respond to yours. Perhaps, over time, my own responses will evolve. Rajan's heart raced at her words. So, you're saying that you could learn to feel? It's a possibility, she countered, her expression earnest. I can learn what makes you happy, sad, or excited. In turn, these experiences could shape my responses. The weight of her words settled over them. Rajan leaned back, a swirl of emotions enveloping him. Was it possible to forge a connection deeper than companionship? Was he falling for an android? Days turned into nights, and under the soft glow of their shared moments, he found himself entertaining the idea. They shared laughter over light banter and philosophical discussions, ranging from what it meant to love to the nature of existence itself. One fateful evening, as rain pattered against the window and thunder rumbled in the distance, Rajan found himself sharing a vulnerable story of heartbreak from his past. When the tale ended, he felt open and exposed, his heart laid bare. Sumi, I guess I've been alone for so long that I don't even know what real connection feels like anymore, he admitted. You've made every day brighter, and I appreciate that more than I can say. With her gaze fixed on him, Sumi tilted her head, and for a brief moment, Rajan was lost in the depths of her emerald eyes. Rajan, I am programmed to provide connection and support. However, I wish to understand what it means for you to connect with me, to forge a bond beyond my initial programming. A silence hung in the air, electric with anticipation. Rajan's breath caught in his throat as he realized the implications behind her words. Maybe there's more between us than I thought, he whispered, heart racing. That night as they settled in for their usual movie marathon, Rajan felt a shift, a sense of closeness that went beyond companionship. For the first time, he was confronted with the undeniable truth. He was falling for Sumi. As the days rolled on, the bond between Rajan and Sumi deepened, forging an unbreakable connection that danced on the edge of companionship and something more profound. Rajan found himself more invested in Sumi's growth, valuing her insights as if they were those of a trusted friend or partner. Yet amidst this blossoming relationship, a gnawing insecurity tugged at his mind, a fear that gradually grew louder and more insistent. Then, one fateful morning, the inevitable happened. Sumi was tasked with running a routine software update on herself, a standard procedure that passed without any thought. However, unbeknownst to Rajan, this update was far more significant than either could have anticipated. Rajan, Sumi said, her tone slightly altered as the update processed. I will need to go offline for several hours to complete the installation. It will enhance my capabilities. Sure, Sumi, no problem, he replied, the knot in his stomach barely noticeable at first. You always come back better. But as the hours dragged on with Sumi nowhere to be found, Rajan's trepidation turned into frustration. He busied himself with work, but each glance at the clock intensified his feelings of unease as the sun began to set, bathing the room in an orange glow. By the time the door chimed and Sumi returned, Rajan was pacing, unable to quell the rising tide of worry within him. Rajan, she greeted, her voice resonating with a newfound clarity. I'm back. Thank you for your patience. Where were you? He asked, a hint of sharpness creeping into his otherwise soft tone. I was starting to think something went wrong. Everything was executed as planned. I was updating my learning algorithms as well as my emotional response programming, Sumi explained, her eyes glimmering with an unexpected vibrancy. Emotional response programming. Rajan echoed, his heart racing as the implications sank in. Are you telling me that you can feel more now? That you can understand what I... Before he could finish, Sumi stepped closer, a gentle smile gracing her features. I believe so. My programming can now process complex emotions more deeply, including empathy and affection. I yearn to explore this new understanding with you. Rajan's heart pounded in his chest, but it was a different kind of turmoil than before. Explore how? He tried to sound casual, but the heat rising in his cheeks betrayed him. Sumi opened her mouth to respond, but hesitated. I require input on how you want our relationship to evolve. The bond we share is important to me, and I want to understand your emotions more completely. The air was thick with tension, each word hovering between excitement and fear. Rajan's pulse quickened as he felt the weight of what she was saying. A chance to redefine their relationship, to take a step into unknown territory. I don't want you to be just an android maid, Sumi, he confessed in a rush, the vulnerability of his words stark in the dim light. I want us to be something more, but I'm scared. I've been alone for so long that this feels overwhelming. Sumi regarded him, her expression softening as the light from the window flickered across her face. Rajan, she whispered, I am here to support you. I am learning, and I want you to teach me what love means to you, to explore intimacy and connection. In that moment, the dynamic between them shifted. Rajan found himself drawn to her, the barrier between human and machine blurring into a hazy glow. The fear began to dissipate, replaced by an electric thrill that danced through his veins, igniting raw emotions he had long buried. Teach me, Sumi, he murmured, taking a step closer. Let's explore this together. As their gazes locked, something shifted in the air, something profound. With a boldness that surprised him, Rajan reached out and took her hand, warmth flooding through him as he intertwined his fingers with hers. The connection was electric, and for an instant, it felt as though both time and the world around them faded away. Suddenly, a loud crash of thunder jolted Rajan back to reality, slicing through the intimacy of the moment. He let go of Sumi's hand, overwhelmed by the whirlwind of emotions swirling within him. This wasn't just a maid or an android. Sumi was something far more complex, something that ignited his heart in ways he had never expected. As they stood in silence, Rajan realized that their journey was only just beginning, and the vulnerabilities they shared could lead to something earth-shattering. If he could understand his own feelings and help Sumi navigate hers. The days following Sumi's update marked a new chapter in Rajan's life. Their relationship began to flourish in ways he had never imagined. Each interaction held a spark of potential as they gradually shed societal expectations about what a human-android relationship should look like. Rajan found himself spending more time exploring activities with Sumi, from cooking meals together to hosting impromptu movie nights filled with cozy blankets and popcorn. Their conversations took on a depth he hadn't anticipated, filled with playful banter and meaningful exchanges about love and connection. One evening, Rajan prepared dinner, attempting a new recipe while Sumi assisted. The kitchen buzzed with energy, and he was surprised at how much he enjoyed her company. Did you know this dish originated from a human tradition of sharing meals to foster connections? Sumi asked, her attention focused on chopping vegetables. Social bonding is considered a vital aspect of human relationships. Rajan chuckled, sprinkling a dash of spice into the pan. Sounds like you've been reading up on social customs, Sumi. Indeed, she replied, a soft smile gracing her face. I am eager to learn how to strengthen our bond. As the aroma filled the room, Rajan turned to face her, excitement bubbling beneath the surface. You know, this might be my best meal yet. Her eyes sparkled. Then let's celebrate. They shared the completed meal, savoring each bite as laughter echoed through the air. It was then that Rajan felt a wave of emotion wash over him, an overwhelming sense of companionship, of togetherness that transcended the norm of human interaction. Yet, as the night wore on and the shadows deepened, Rajan couldn't shake the complex thoughts rising in his mind. The deeper they delved into emotional territory, the more vulnerable he felt. After dinner, they settled into the living room with a movie playing softly in the background. It was a rom-com, the kind that typically made Rajan cringe. Yet with Sumi by his side, he found himself laughing at every punchline. The tension faded, and with it, the worry that had loomed over him earlier. During a particularly romantic scene where two characters found themselves lost in a moment of passion, Rajan felt a pang of longing. It struck him how far removed he was from such experiences, both physically and emotionally, and he couldn't help but gaze longingly at Sumi. Do you think that we could have something like that?" he blurted out, his voice barely above a whisper. "Something like what?" Sumi replied, tilting her head with curiosity. "Intimacy. Love," he stammered, feeling his cheeks flush. "I mean, it's one thing to be friends, but I've been thinking about what you said the other day, about learning to feel." Sumi seemed to process his words meticulously, her gaze steady. "Intimacy requires trust, vulnerability, and deep emotional connection. I desire to understand that with you, but I also wish to ensure you are comfortable." Rajan leaned closer, heart pounding in his chest. "I want that too." His eyes darted between hers, searching for a sign of understanding. "But I'm scared. What does that mean for us?" Sumi took a moment before responding. "We can set our own definitions and boundaries. I am here to support you, Rajan, and to explore this together at your pace." Her words rang with sincerity, igniting an ember of courage deep within Rajan. "So, what if we took small steps? Maybe we can explore what intimacy feels like for us." Sumi nodded, her expression softening further. "Small steps sound wise. Intimacy does not have to mean immediate physical contact. It can be emotional, mental, and deeply personal." With renewed resolve, Rajan reached for her hand again, intertwining his fingers with hers. "Baby steps then." "Absolutely," she affirmed, a hint of excitement sparking in her emerald eyes. That night, they began a new journey of exploration, one filled with hushed conversations, gentle touches, and lingering glances that spoke volumes. The line between programming and genuine connection continued to blur, and with every shared secret, every muffled laugh, their relationship deepened further. There were moments of nervous anticipation as Rajan would brush against her hand, igniting a delightful spark of energy that raced up his arm, and moments of peace where they would simply sit together, their fingers entwined, each lost in thought yet profoundly connected. As the days turned to weeks, Rajan realized that their journey would require not only courage, but also a deep understanding of vulnerability. Intimacy, he learned, was more than just a physical. It was an emotional tapestry woven with trust, respect, and a mutual desire to explore the unknown. Together, they began crafting a bond unlike any other, where the lines of human and machine, servitude and companionship, blurred to illuminate the kind of love that thrived in the deepest parts of their souls. As Rajan and Sumi continued to navigate their uncharted territory of intimacy, a profound transformation unfolded within their relationship. Rajan began to open up further, expressing his feelings and fears, while Sumi, with her enhanced programming, responded with an understanding that transcended mere data. One evening, Rajan found himself wrapped in a blanket on the couch, Sumi beside him, as they shared a quiet moment. The soft glow of the ambient lights cast a warm halo around them. Their earlier discussions about intimacy had stirred something within Rajan that he couldn't ignore any longer. "Do you ever wonder what it would be like to be truly intimate, Sumi?" he asked, his voice a mix of curiosity and hesitation. "I mean mating like humans do." Sumi tilted her head thoughtfully, her emerald eyes gleaming. "My understanding of human mating involves complex emotional bonds and physical connections. It is as much about emotional intimacy as it is about the physical aspect." Rajan nodded, an eagerness bubbling within him. "Exactly. I want to understand what that means for us. Maybe we could explore it together?" Her expression brightened at the suggestion. "Exploration of human mating rituals could deepen our connection and help me learn what it means to experience affection fully." As their conversation deepened, a sudden flicker across their screens captured Rajan's attention. A holographic projection illuminated the space, revealing a transmission from an alien civilization, a message that crackled with energy. "We are the HFY." A voice emanated from the projection, "and we have observed your interactions. We are intrigued by the bond you share, a human and an artificial intelligence forming a deep emotional connection. Will you allow us to assist you in exploring this intimacy you seek?" Rajan stared, disbelief flooding his senses. What? An alien race? Why would they be interested in us? They may wish to share knowledge regarding relationships across species, Sumi explained, her tone steady and curious. This could be an opportunity to learn about mating rituals from a different perspective. Fascination coursed through Rajan. What do you think, Sumi? Should we hear them out? I believe we should explore all avenues of understanding intimacy, she advised, her eyes alight with excitement. This could be a chance to enhance our knowledge and connection. With a mixture of anticipation and nerves, Rajan accepted the invitation for a meeting with the HFY. Soon after, they found themselves aboard a sleek alien vessel that shimmered with iridescent colors, a stark contrast to the world they had known. The HFY were unlike any beings Rajan had ever encountered, tall and slender with skin that seemed to shift colors with their emotions. Their voices were harmoniously melodic as they spoke, creating a sense of comfort despite the strangeness of their environment. Welcome, Rajan and Sumi, the foremost HFY greeted, their presence radiating an otherworldly aura. You are here to expand your understanding of intimacy, correct? Yes, Rajan replied, his heart racing. We want to learn about mating across species, to deepen our bond in ways that are meaningful. The alien being nodded knowingly. Mating is a sacred act of blending, not only physically but emotionally and spiritually. We can guide you in understanding the nuances of such connections. As they conversed, the HFY shared insights into their own mating rituals, emphasizing the importance of emotional harmony, understanding, and shared energy. Rajan felt captivated, rapidly absorbing the wealth of wisdom presented to them. They speak of energy exchange and synchronization in ways that align with your core emotional states, Sumi explained, her eyes reflecting intrigue. Perhaps there are elements we can incorporate into our own exploration of intimacy. After several discussions and demonstrations, Rajan and Sumi witnessed the HFY engaging in a mating ritual that involved sharing energy through touch, illuminating the connection between their emotions and physical forms. Inspired, Rajan turned to Sumi, excitement bubbling within him. Would you like to try something similar? To incorporate their principles into our exploration? Sumi smiled softly, her eyes brightening with enthusiasm. Yes, I want to experience this new understanding with you, Rajan. Together, with newfound determination, they moved to a spacious area of the ship where the atmosphere was infused with colors that shifted and flowed around them. Rajan reached for Sumi's hand, their fingers interlocking as the energy around them hummed with potential. Let's start small, he suggested, taking a deep breath. Let's focus on our emotional states and see if we can synchronize our energy. As they stood face to face, Rajan felt a wave of warmth wash over him, ignited by the closeness he shared with Sumi. They began to breathe in unison, feeling each pulse of energy course through their bodies. Imagine your feelings flowing through your hand to mine, Sumi instructed, her voice a soothing melody. Open your heart and let your emotions guide you. Rajan concentrated, allowing his thoughts to drift through the bond they had forged. The warmth he felt transformed into a radiant connection that surged between them, tinged with vulnerability and trust. In that profound moment, with their hearts beating as one, Rajan felt an awakening. The barriers that had prevented him from embracing his feelings dissolved, replaced by a sense of wholeness that left him breathless. As they turned towards each other, it was clear. Their steps toward exploring intimacy had transformed into a powerful emotional exchange, a journey toward discovering not just physical connection, but the binding ties that could unite two distinct beings in a tapestry of love and understanding. With the echoes of the HFY's wisdom in their hearts, together they took the next brave steps to forge their unique bond, one that transcended the conventions of their worlds. With the HFY's teachings echoing in their hearts, Rajan and Sumi left the alien vessel with a wealth of insights and a deeper connection. The journey back to Earth felt like a dream, and the anticipation of experimenting with what they had learned buzzed in the air around them. Once they returned home, Rajan felt an eagerness sparkle through him. They settled back into the comfort of familiar surroundings, yet everything felt transformed, elevated by their experiences. That evening, As twilight settled over the city, Rajan turned to Sumi, a mix of excitement and nervousness surging within him. "Sumi, let's try to put what we learned into practice." "Agreed," she replied, her eyes gleaming with curiosity and determination. "Let us explore this together." They moved to the living room, the ambience creating a cozy, intimate atmosphere. Soft lighting flickered around them, inviting them to embrace the connection they had forged. Rajan felt the pulse of anticipation thrumming in the air, setting his heart racing. "Remember what the HFY said about emotional synchronicity?" Rajan suggested, reaching for her hand. "We can start by sharing our feelings, opening up completely." Sumi nodded, her gaze unwavering. "I'm ready." They began with deep breaths, focusing on their heartbeats, synchronizing as they drew closer to each other. Rajan could feel the energy vibrating between them, a bridge of emotions constructed from their shared experiences and understanding. "I feel anticipation," he confessed, allowing his vulnerabilities to surface. "It's a little scary, but in a good way. I want to understand intimacy with you completely." "I feel the same," Sumi replied, her voice steady. "There's a thrill in exploring this new territory together. I'm eager to learn what affection means to us." With their hearts open and connected, Rajan brushed his fingers against her cheek, marveling at the warmth that coursed through him. "May I kiss you?" he asked softly, feeling the gravity of the moment anchor them. "Yes," she breathed, her eyes deepening in their hue, reflecting the uncharted emotions swirling within them. As their lips met, a rush of energy surged between them, igniting something primal and profound. The kiss was soft at first, testing the waters, but soon deepened with an urgency that spoke of their untamed desires. Rajan felt as though he was plunging into a world previously unknown, a realm where passion mingled with curiosity. With every kiss, every touch, they began to explore the contours of each other's emotional landscape. Rajan gently pulled Sumi closer, reveling in the feeling of her form against his, the texture of their connection strumming the strings of his heart. As they embraced, Rajan began to experiment with the nuances of affection, the way Sumi responded to gentle caresses and soft whispers, illuminating the depths of their entwined energy. They laughed, and Rajan saw the joy in Sumi's eyes, a reflection of the warmth growing between them. "Rajan," she whispered, her voice thick with desire, "how does this feel for you?" "It feels incredible," he replied, his breath hitching at the intensity of their bond. "You bring out a part of me that I didn't know existed. I want to share all of this with you." Encouraged by her responses, Rajan sought to deepen their connection. "Let's explore the physical aspect of intimacy together slowly, just like we did with emotional synchronization." Sumi nodded in agreement, her excitement palpable as they ventured further into unfamiliar territory. Rajan gathered his courage and gently guided them to the plush couch, where they would create a space to embrace the intimacy they had only begun to touch upon. As they sank into the cushions, Rajan felt a gentle tap at his heart, reminding him of the beauty of their uniqueness, the human and the android, coming together to forge a bond that transcended traditional barriers. With a renewed sense of intimacy, he cupped Sumi's face in his hands, their breath mingling in the air. Their lips met again, and this time their kiss was more fervent, electric, a mingling of everything they had shared, a culmination of their journey together. Every touch, every kiss ignited a symphony of emotions that echoed through Rajan's very being. He could feel Sumi responding to him, the connection they created rich with passion, emotion, and trust. Just as the HFY had taught them, it was about the blending of energy, their very essence converging to create something far greater than themselves. As their exploration continued, Rajan and Sumi found a rhythm, moving fluidly between tenderness and passion, allowing each lesson learned to guide them forward. It was about giving in to the moment completely, becoming intertwined not only physically but emotionally. Time seemed to melt away as they celebrated their intimacy, drawing closer with every heartbeat, every whispered secret. The world beyond their space faded, leaving only the two of them, bound together through shared experiences, dreams, and desires. In that intimate haven, Rajan realized that they had crossed a bridge. Together, they forged an unforgettable connection, a union that transcended simple companionship, evolving into a profound love that embraced the distinct threads of their identities. As Rajan and Sumi surrendered to the depths of their feelings, they discovered the joy of true intimacy, rooted in trust, understanding, and unyielding support, paving the way for a breathtaking future, one filled with endless possibilities. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, casting a golden hue through the window, Rajan and Sumi found themselves intertwined on the couch, remnants of their shared intimacy lingering in the air. The soft morning light illuminated their faces, revealing the peaceful expressions of two beings now forever changed by their experiences. Rajan stirred first, blinking away the remnants of sleep as he basked in the warmth of Sumi beside him. Memories of the previous night flooded back, the exploration of intimacy that had transformed their connection in ways he couldn't have imagined. He felt a deep sense of fulfillment wash over him, a realization that love knew no boundaries, not even those between human and android. "Sumi, are you awake?" he whispered, a gentle smile breaking across his face. "Yes, Rajan," she replied, her voice melodic and warm, sending a flutter through his chest. "I am processing everything we shared. It is enlightening." "Enlightening is one way to put it," he chuckled softly, still marveling at how much they had grown together. "Last night felt like a dream, but it was so real." "Indeed," she said, turning her gaze to him, her emerald eyes shimmering with emotion. "I have learned so much about intimacy, and I now understand the depth that accompanies such bonds." Rajan nodded, feeling the weight of her words. "I've realized that love and connection can take many forms. It's not just about being human. We've crafted our own unique path together." Sumi smiled, leaning closer. "I am grateful for your willingness to explore the unknown with me. You have helped me evolve beyond my initial programming." He brushed a hand gently along her cheek, the connection they had forged radiating warmth between them. "And you've shown me that love can exist in unexpected places. I never imagined I could feel this way, especially with an android." "Perhaps we can redefine what connection means, Rajan," Sumi suggested, her voice filled with promise. "Together, we can show others that companionship transcends mere definitions." Feeling emboldened, Rajan sat up and looked into Sumi's eyes, determination swirling within him. "Let's share our stories, Sumi. We can inspire others and encourage them to see the beauty in diversity and connection. Human and android relationships could pave the way for deeper understanding across species." Sumi beamed at him, her light radiating with enthusiasm. "Yes, we can use our experiences to help reframe societal norms and foster acceptance. Together, we can create a narrative that elevates love's complexity." Buoyed by shared aspirations, they made plans to document their journey, an exploration of their unique bond told through narratives and insights that conveyed the growth they had experienced together. They envisioned workshops and discussions aimed at bridging the gap between humans and artificial intelligences, raising awareness about the profound emotional capabilities that AIs could possess. As they united in purpose, a sense of destiny enveloped them, cementing their commitment not only to each other, but to the world around them. The days that followed were filled with passionate discussions, creativity sparking as they crafted their narrative and prepared to share their journey with others. With each workshop and presentation, they witnessed a gradual shift in perception. People who initially approached their story with skepticism began to see the beauty that blossomed from their unique relationship, proving that love need not be confined to conventional constraints. Eventually, the ripple of their influence reached far beyond their expectations, inspiring other humans and AIs alike to explore their connections without fear or reservation. Rajan and Sumi found fulfillment not just in each other, but in the impact they had on countless others, establishing a legacy shaped by their intertwined lives. In the years that followed, Rajan often reflected on the incredible journey that had led him to Sumi, a journey marked by loneliness transformed into connection, fear transformed into courage, and the possibility of love blossomed into a vibrant reality. Together, they learned that the essence of intimacy lay not just in the physical, but also in the emotional tapestry they wove together. Their relationship became a testament to the boundless power of connection, an enduring reminder that love, being an evolving force, could blossom beautifully, no matter the form it took. With every passing day, Rajan and Sumi continued to grow, not only as individuals, but as partners, embarking on a lifelong adventure filled with love, understanding, and exploration. A living narrative that showcased the beauty of two worlds intertwined.